Hello, Tubies, and how are you? And welcome to the first episode of The Craft, a limited special series for the Grimoire. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to be working to be making a protection ritual. I don't do elaborate protection rituals very often, but I wanted to try something new and put some of my visualization skills to the test. So we're dressing these candles in coconut oil and putting our protection blend on the candles themselves. Your protection blend can be whatever you want it to be, of whatever herbs. I mostly stick to earth-based herbs when creating protection-based incense or candle dressings, and I like to dress my candles quite liberally. That's why you can see there's lots of herbs on these candles. I'm also going to be making a protection sigil for this particular ritual as well. A lot of my protection-based blends, be they incense or oils, are always earthy-based because you can just take all of that negative energy and put it right into the earth. And this black stuff that I'm putting on there is just black salt, because not only am I wanting to take the negative energy and put it into the earth, but I also want to protect myself against negative energies from other people or spirits or whatever the case may be. Now the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to create a sigil that these candles are going to be burned on top of to place the intention of protection, protecting me, protecting my space, and we're just blessing the area with the protection-based incense, and we're putting the intentions in. So let's do that. Okay, it looks like we're ready to make our protection sigil. So my protection sigil that I'm doing is just doing it here on this aluminum foil because we're going to be burning candles here and it's a permanent marker. And the protection sigil is literally just the word protection turned into a sigil and used with the intentions of protecting my space, protecting me, and essentially taking my little apartment here and moving it outside of the physical plane such that it's harder to target, it's harder to come after me, and it takes a lot of visualization to do this. Essentially, you are taking your house or your apartment or your car or whatever, and you are moving it from the physical plane to the astral plane or to whatever other plane you want it to be. Obviously, it's still physically going to be on the physical plane. You're still going to drive it or live in it. It's just in a, how do I put this in a not so cheesy, charmed kind of way? In a magical way, if you will. It's on a different plane of existence. You know what I mean? Like, it's harder to attack a moving target is what I'm saying, okay? So that's essentially what I'm doing here, and I'm using a psalm in order to bless this and put the intentions that I want into it. I don't use a lot of psalm magics in my magics. Not all of the time do I turn to psalms or the Bible or other Abrahamic types of magics, but sometimes I do because it's what resonates, it's what fits at that moment, it's what I'm told basically to put in. So we're just putting the intentions of protection into the sigil and essentially activating it and blessing it. One of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're doing these types of protection magics is it's heavily based off of visualization, right? So we are visualizing how we want to be protected. And this isn't just against other witches or people on the Facebook groups or the YouTubes or the Instagrams or whatever. This is like in general, right? Remember when you were reading your first Wiccan book or your first witchy book or whatever it was, and they were talking about protection and protecting your space, and they were briefly talk about it, about protecting that kind of space, and protecting yourself and making sure that your magical place was cleansed and consecrated and all of that stuff. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip past a lot of this because this is boring. Like, we don't need to sit here and watch me put intentions into things, okay? Okay. So now what we're going to do, I'm speeding this up because it's taking too long. Magic takes a long time. This video would be like an hour and a half long, okay? We don't have that kind of time. We're blessing the candles that are dressed in the herbs and the black salt, right? And we're blessing them in the incense, and we're placing them on the sigil, okay? And we're going to burn these candles down. We're just kind of removing some of the excess oil, excess herbs, because we did coat them pretty heavily with all of that fun stuff, right? So, and we're just going to place them here onto the plate, and we're going to burn them down, and it's going to be a fun time, and our space is going to be protected. Now, how often would I do one of these rituals? Maybe once every 6 or 7 months. One of these things will last you a really long time, especially if you're really great at your visualization skills, if you're really good at that type of magics. This I'd probably for myself do every 3 or 4 months, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy, and it exhausts you and makes you depleted. Now, I do other things for protection means, and again, that's not just protecting against YouTube witches or Facebook witches or Instagram or any of that crap. It's also protecting against the outside world's energies, right? So we need to make sure that our space is protected. We need to make sure that ourselves are protected. We need to make sure that the things that we love are protected, right? Now it's time to light these bad boys, right? Like, we need to light these bad boys. We probably need to put a few bits of intentions in. We'll just put a little bit more black salt on there. But we should light these bad boys. I love using black salt. My black salt always contains a little bit of sulfur, obviously salt, obviously a charcoal, but it also includes other things in it that you may not be aware of, like rosemary. For instance, rosemary is really great at protection. Oh, we're just blessing everything now. Blessing, and we're blessing, and we're blessing. A lot of what I do in my craft is blessing the things that I use, especially if it's in relation to protection magic. So you want to make sure everything is cleansed, purified, blessed, sacred, right? It's the hippy dippies, but it's the basics of the hippy dippies. There's nothing more complicated. And I like to keep my rituals pretty simple. I don't like to get all elaborate and crazy. You might be thinking this is kind of elaborate and crazy. This is a simple protection ritual. My magic's is simple. Let's continue putting some intentions in. We're almost done. Calm down. Okay, now that we're done all of that, and we've got our little cinematic thing going on here with the candles burning and the incense blowing and all of that fun stuff, these candles will just burn themselves right down, and that'll be the end of that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you learned something, and about protection magic. It takes a lot of visualization, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of dedication and focus. And if you are lacking in visualization and in that area, this might actually be a really great area for you to practice your skills, is by visualization and protection magics. I mean, there's other areas of magics where lots of visualization come in handy, but you get the point. Okay, until next time, my fabulous little skibbies.